Welcome back to another episode of Smooth Operator Trucking, where we create the dream 1 mile at a time. Today I'm going to be talking about owner-operator pay in March of 2023. If you're thinking about becoming an owner-operator, keep watching to the end. It's probably the video for you. So last month I was still on the spot market working for a buddy of mine, 90-10 splits. And then right in the middle, I would say right around the 17th of February, I found out that he was getting rid of his authority. So at that point, I was out of a job. All right. So I applied to Mercer Transportation out of Louisville, Kentucky, and I went to work for them. I pulled my first load with them actually exactly a month later on February 17th. So this month's monthly recap is going to be pretty short. I didn't really do a lot, obviously. All right, so first of all, I'll say this, Mercer, been here for a few months now. It's not a bad company. They do 75% of 98%, and I'll probably do a review on them a little bit later, but they're not a bad company overall. All right, so my first load with Mercer Transportation picked up in Columbus, Indiana, and went to Cape, man, I'm probably gonna mess this up, Girardeau, Missouri. It was a load of forklifts. Now, this is pulling dry van. I do dry van. Yes, Mercer does do forklifts inside of a dry van. They actually pay very well. For this particular load, I was paid $4.16 a mile for 358 miles for a total of $1,489. I think there was like 2 or 3 drops on that load, and I was able to get it off in like a day and a half or something like that. So for my very first load, wasn't bad at all. Now, it's very hard to get those loads. There's a lot of guys who've been here a long time. They know the exact places to be. Mercer has this first empty kind of policy, or if you're empty and whoever's been sitting the longest, they get the priority when loads come out. And so a lot of guys who've been here for a while, they'll strategically go to places where they know if they sit for a day or two, they'll be priority on the list, and then they'll get the good loads, which I'm not knocking them for. So good on them. Still trying to figure out the lanes and everything, but I think I'm getting there. Anyways, all right, enough tangent. Let's jump into it. So for the month of March, like I said again, I didn't start until March 17th. I did only 5 loads, okay? Started off in Columbus, Indiana, and finally ended in Cincinnati, Ohio. First load, as I said, was Columbus to Missouri. Second one was Milan, Tennessee to Cleveland, Ohio. Milan actually has some pretty good loads too. I like pulling for that particular agent. Columbus, Ohio to New Braunfels, Texas. Pasadena, Texas to Paducah, Kentucky, and then I did another Milan, Tennessee load to Cincinnati, Ohio. All right, so let's see here. Total book line haul for the month of March was $7,450.03. Booked miles was 3,451. Paid miles was $2.16 per mile. Now, one thing about Mercer is whatever you see on the board, that's the price you get. They've already taken out their 25%. So these numbers are to the truck, okay? I got a $375 in accessorials. I think one of the loads got delayed, and so I ended up having to wait an extra few hours or a day or something like that. So, whatever, it worked out pretty well. Let's see here. My total miles for the month of March was 5,973 miles. My average all miles was $1.31. Had some dead hit in there. So what happened was, reason why it was so low was because I count all my miles. So whether I drive, 100 miles to go pick up a load, 500 miles delivering a load, or if I drive 5 miles to Walmart, every mile that this truck moves, I count that. All right. And so basically the last load I did the month before that ended in San Antonio, Texas. And at that point I was at 1,434,436 miles. Okay. Then I had a dead hit all the way back home, which is near Crestview, Florida. And so then when I actually did pick up another load, I had to go to Louisville for orientation, and then from there I had to dead head to Columbus, Indiana, whatever, to pick up the load. So all of those miles count. And so that's the reason why my per mile or overall per mile was so low for the month of March, because that, like I said, that first load paid $4.16 per mile, and the, let's see here, paid miles on it was 358, But the total miles, including the miles that I had to deadhead before that to orientation and all that good stuff, was 2,085. All right, makes sense? If I were to break that down, let's see here. So yeah, so that was what my income was for that month, or my gross, $5,973 to the truck. All right, so let's jump into expenses here, okay? All right, so for the month of March, my expenses were fuel. I used 926 gallons of diesel fuel. Fuel cost was $3,690.25. Let's see here. Trailer payment. So at Mercer, you do rent a trailer. I think it's like $675 a month, and then anything over 7,700 miles, they charge you like a 3 cents per mile or something like that. So since I came in the middle of the month, prorated, it's like $326.61 I spent on trailer rental for the month of March. Licensing and permits was $115.76. Insurance was $103. Let's see here. Oil was $296.82. And repairs and parts was $2,078.98. All right, let's see here. Cell phone was $100. All right, card load was $8.75. Every time you load your card with your advance for fuel, it's $1.75. Okay. Let's see here. I paid $13 for a scale. Office supplies was $6.14, and then miscellaneous operating expenses with $57.50. And let's see here. Food and beverage. I spent $360.68 on food and beverage in the month of March, and I paid myself $1,232 through payroll, and then other personal expenses miscellaneous were $32.21. All right, so let's break that down by per mile. Okay. All right, so for the month of March, I averaged 6.45 miles per gallon. Okay. Total fuel cost was 62 cents per mile. Trailer rental fee was 5 cents per mile. License and permits was 2 cents a mile. Total insurance was 2 cents a mile. And let's see here, total oil was 5 cents a mile. So total repairs and parts was 35 cents per mile for the month of March. And then cell phone, 2 cents per mile. Let's see here, what else we got? Yeah, miscellaneous expenses were 1 cent per mile. So for the month of March, my operating cost was $1.14 per mile. All right, and then we come over to total food and beverage. I spent 6 cents per mile. Total, I paid myself 21 cents per mile. And then total other personal expenses was 1 cent a mile. So total personal expenses was 27 cents per mile. So you take that 27 cents with my $1.14 operating cost, and you get $1.41 cents per mile cost for the month of March. All right, let's see here, and then we come over to, let me go here to my yearly P&L. No, P&L graphs. All right, so for the month of March, I netted $7,825. My expenses were $8,421.70. So I took a slight loss for the month of March. Like I said, a lot of that was I started in the middle of the month, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like that sometimes. I think April was a little bit better month for me. So, but yeah, so hope this was very informative to you guys. Like I said, if you're thinking about becoming an owner operator, it's very important to keep up with your numbers, know your total cost, but also know your cost per mile. So that way you know how much you can run for. You know, as you can see, my total overall per mile was $1.31, and my expenses exceeded that because they were $1.41 cents per mile. So basically a loss of what, pretty much 10 cents per mile that I lost. So always keep an eye on that. Anyways, as always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. And remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Hard times don't last, hard truckers do. And last but not least, stay smooth, my friends.